Hello, everyone, and welcome to the final episode of the Weekend Grill, the AFL edition of the Weekend Grill. Firstly, thank you to everyone who's tuned in 2023. We appreciate the love and support. Also, thank you to all the contributors on this show. So, Pommy and Oz, Dan Williams, Paul Sebastiani, and Michael Maloney has joined in. And I'll tell you what, the guy I'm sitting across the table from now, Paul Italiano, I've known this guy for 17 years, and I'm telling you right now, I've never seen someone more nervous for a grand final, or even just a game of football. Paul, you're nervous. Your team's in the grand final.
Mate, this is like Sunday church for us, mate. This is a custom. It's in our DNA. We just front up to September every year. We actually average a prelim every 2 years, if you matter of fact.
I know, you've been involved in the most grand final losses.
For Carlton supporters, I understand. It's foreign. This is like Easter for you guys, and it comes once every couple, once. This is every Sunday, mate. This is what we do. We'll get over the line, mate. We'll do what Carlton couldn't do on the weekend.
Yeah, well, we'll see about that. Look, mate, we're going to quickly go through the preliminary finals and do a quick review of both those games. Standing tall in September. It's been a theme for us this September. We're going to go through a couple of players from both games. The Brownlow medal, I want to touch on it a little bit.
Yes.
There's a bit of controversy surrounding it. And also, we're going to put in a grand final preview, and I want to speak to you and hopefully not your one-eyed part of a couple of battles within the battle. So there's a couple of matchups there. We're going to go through it. And obviously, look, we know who you're going to tip. But look, we're going to try and take a deep dive into it. But look, let's go back to the preliminary finals on Friday night where GWS and Collingwood versed each other in front of 97,000. Well done, Pies fan. That's a massive turnout
it was.
In a big game. And the Collingwood prevailed by a point. You were there. Is there anything you want to touch up on?
The game surprised me. It was I didn't think it was going to be a grinding game like that.
Considering the free-flowing style of both teams?
Yeah, and I think both teams said, well, we're not going to let you have that. We're not going to let you have that. And both teams pretty much wrestled it out, really.
No score in the last 6 minutes.
Both teams just stopped each other's runs. That was unbelievable. No score. Was it the last 6 minutes,
6 minutes and 20 seconds. Now,
and that's why DeGoey couldn't do other players as well.
On the bench. DeGoey was on the bench. Well, when you were there, did it feel like there was no score for, like, did you notice, I know you were so entrenched in the game and emotionally invested. Did you notice how much of an epic struggle it was in the last 6.5 minutes or so?
Yes. Well, when Hogan kicked the goal, I think I looked at the clock.
Yep.
And I said, well, geez, there's plenty of time. He's going to go in.
Yeah.
And then by the blink of an eye, it was like, the Collingwood chant went up. It was like, all right, there's 2 minutes now. And then I think McRae said it after the game because every week we train scenarios. We do 1 or 2 minutes of scenario training. And you can see, like, they just don't want to let the ball out. Like, someone will pick it up. Oh, yeah, tackle me. Yep, ball up. Yep, tackle me. Ball up.
I think you may have been watching too much of Matthew Lloyd on Sunday Footy Show because what you said, he's put it out in one of the best analysis or vision you'll ever see and what Collingwood try and do to force as many stoppages as they can in the last 2 minutes. And that's a credit to Collingwood and their coaching staff.
And Jamie Elliott, he had an option. He could have kicked it long forward, but they had their numbers there and I don't know if they've
kicked it to the wing.
He kicked it to the wing into space and Dacos, obviously, mate, the Ferrari just went and
now,
back around.
GWS were brave. I thought that they took it to you really well. Look, they did come up a little bit short, obviously, but this is what finals are about. You don't really get an inch. The inch that you get in the regular season, you're not going to get in the finals. I thought it was a very contested game, obviously, and it was a lot of pressure. You could see the pressure, and irrespective of the score, it wouldn't be more than 20 goals involved in the game, obviously, as we can see with 58 to 57. But
they were good.
I thought it was a really good game. The actual arm wrestle of it, I thought was fantastic, and credit to GWS. They're not in a grand final, and Collingwood are. And a lot of people are going to look back at this game and go, is Collingwood suspect? Like, does it leave a sort of a black mark on their name? Like, now people have questions of Collingwood, but as we'll go through on the grand final preview, I'm not going to take what happened on that Friday night game moving forward. Are you, as a Collingwood supporter, going to take anything from that game moving forward?
They're a good team, mate. There's no easy prelims, put it that way.
Yeah.
And everyone, look, they were probably the would you say they were the
They were,
informed team?
without a shadow of a doubt. They're 100%.
Right. And when you come up a team with confidence.
It's undisputed. You can't dispute that they were the
Yeah.
best team. Going from the back end of the season into that preliminary final, they were
Yep.
the most informed team.
Yep. I was just glad to win because I was always a little bit worried that Pies have only played 2 games in a month. You can get, you come out a little bit with the cobwebs, and you saw with Brisbane, which we'll get
Yep.
to.
I
So
do
just to
think,
get
though,
the
that
win.
that week off helped both grand finalists in Collingwood and Brisbane, though. Do you believe it helped?
Well, to get Dacos back, yes, correct.
And
that
the
helps.
3 6-day or 2 6-day turnarounds that
Yeah.
GWS has had to face.
Correct.
So, look, I don't think there's much to take out from that game aside from the obvious that Collingwood in the grand final, GWS, much respect
doesn't
to
matter
them.
how you win it, mate.
I know.
Hawks in their trilogy, their years,
Their three-peat.
Their three-peat. They went to played Port Adelaide down to the wire. Adelaide Crows down to the wire in the prelims, and I
Yep.
can't remember who the third one was.
Geelong.
There you go.
Yeah,
So
I'm pretty sure they versed Geelong in a prelim at the
they
G.
came back by, was it 30
in the last
points
quarter
or something?
Yeah. Yep.
So I think I heard Luke Hodge on the radio just say like he hated prelims because they're the hardest games to win.
Yeah. Now, just some injury news before we move away. Dan McStay, unfortunately, from that game is a miss. I think you wouldn't have noticed it, but on TV it was very evident. You could see the distress on his face.
Yep.
He did well to handle himself. Obviously, look, his team's in a grand final, and he's probably going to be the sacrifice and miss out. But
Yeah,
I thought he
that's
handled himself well. And look, that's tight. Like he's come from a club to a Victorian club. Coincidentally, they're both playing each other in the grand final.
That's stiff, isn't
and
it?
he has to miss out. And also, Taylor Adams has been ruled out. So McStay and Taylor Adams are both out. Now, we'll move on to the Saturday the second preliminary final at the Gabba. Brisbane Lions 79 defeat Carlton by 16 points, 63.
Yep.
Carlton got out 5 goals. Brisbane pegged them back in that second part of the first quarter by kicking two late goals. And then after that, it was for 2 quarters. It was just one-way traffic. And, yeah, I mean, I think Brisbane's done well to keep Carlton to 1 goal in 2 quarters. Albeit, they've kicked 1 goal 6 combined in the second and third quarter. But Brisbane just put the foot down. They probably had the fresher legs. Carlton will walk in wounded.
Yep.
I understand that it's a big game and a prelim, and without being cynical, I don't think there's too much to take away from the game. Brisbane were probably expected to win. Carlton gave it a red hot crack. It was probably as a Carlton supporter, probably just a question of a matter of time and how long their legs could last. Did you see it a certain way?
Yeah, I think he just ran out of legs because the first quarter, the pressure around the footy was huge.
Yeah.
Like you could see Brisbane were panicking, kicking it down the line. And I think it just dropped off as the game went on. And Brisbane obviously got better as well into their own hands.
They were able to get the game on their terms. I think they were able to wrestle they were able to win those mini 50-50 contests, which then put the advantage in their favour. And look, we have to remember, and shout out to Pommy, who made this point very clear to me on Saturday night when I spoke to him. Like Brisbane have been in 4 preliminary finals. Like they know what it takes.
They do.
Look, this is Carlton's first preliminary final, first final for a lot of them, not third final for a lot of them, but first finals campaign for the majority of that group. And I think there's a lot of upside to Carlton. I thought Brisbane, whether you want to argue first or second best team in the comp throughout the whole year, probably deserved to be in the grand final. I mean, that's up to if you want to argue that, but Brisbane did well to wrestle back the momentum, and I thought it showed a lot of finals experience in that game. And it actually counted. You could see it counted for something because when they were 5 goals down, 5 goals to none down, they sort of needed something to pull them back up, and they had the whole game to do it. But they were able to get the game back on their terms.
Well, they did it quick too. Like by half time, I think they were ahead.
They were ahead by 3 points. Correct.
So they corrected it really quickly. I think you just ran out of legs, and this is why people say it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
Because you manage your season for these moments where you can be fresh in these games.
I suppose what it does do, what I want to argue is everyone's been, just leading up to the finals, I was of the perhaps oblivious belief that you probably it didn't matter whether you finished 5th to 8th, but I must say after the events of what's happened or what I saw over the weekend, I think it's a fair assessment to say that top 4 is such an advantage.
Yeah, 100%. Well, you went through 2
brutal
games.
Yep.
Like that Melbourne game, I always said that Melbourne game was brutal.
Yep.
I I was actually questioning that when you were 5-1 up. So, geez, far out.
Were you thinking anything? Were you obviously you known the result on Friday, and you're watching the game?
I had a feeling that I'm like, wow.
I did. We spoke before the game.
Like Brisbane should win, but I got this funny feeling that, geez, like Carlton's on this 2016 Dogs run where just they just keep winning for the story, and then I'm like, oh. Fuck, this is happening. Shit.
Were you doing these ones going, we're going to be versing Carlton?
No. I was just having a nice cheese platter, mate, with a glass of red.
You're an idiot.
Feet up, and then I'll tell you what, at half time I was on the scotches when it was
when you saw Brisbane
were up, mate.
Yeah. Now I don't think there was any injury news from this. We're still obviously Jackson Payne didn't play. Lachie Neale had a sting in his shoulder.
He's fine.
He's
fine.
If Doherty and Blake Acres can get up for 2 games, and all that, I'm pretty sure Lachie Neale's going to be fine.
He spoke about it last night. He's got he actually has he's got a bone block in his shoulder for Rico's, and when the shoulder
AFL standard, are you?
Yes, I am. Yep, bad shoulders, mate. And when the shoulder tries to come out, the force of it on the bone and the block, and he gets like a stinger. But he's all good, mate. He was slapping the freaking ground 5 minutes later when they won. So.
But yeah, look, Jackson
Lincoln McCarthy's the one.
Yeah, he's had some calf strapping. You heard?
Yes, hasn't trained.
He was interviewed on Sunday Footy Show, and the day after the game, and you know what AFL clubs are like. They keep these things under wraps. You don't know until 10 minutes before the game, but there's a few track spies out there that are noticing a lot of things that the majority of people aren't. I think he's going to play.
I think he'll play.
Yeah.
I don't think Payne will play.
Yeah.
Well, Gardner did a good job. Why take out? Why risk someone to come in?
Yep.
For someone who did a good job.
Are you, just before we go, without harping on too much about it, you saw Charlie Curno's finals campaign?
Yep.
I obviously, as a Carlton fan, reading a lot of what's being said and what's being written. I thought a lot of it was unjustified. When I say unjustified, look, I know people are looking at his numbers, and yes, 1 goal each final. Yeah. Okay, given his lofty standards that he set throughout the regular season. However, I think it needs to be put into context and how games are won. Like, you do realise that in finals, it's a lot of teams are going to double team. There's a lot of intercepting. And I just thought it was a little bit harsh, considering that there is no finals campaign without Charlie's regular season. It's as simple as that.
Yep.
Is there anything that you want to say about that? Without leaving that Collingwood hat on of yours.
No.
You have to be real.
I think a player of his level, he's an elite player.
Yep.
I'm sure Carlton fans would have expected more.
Yep.
From
him. Yeah. Okay.
I think as a key forward.
Yep.
What was his return? 1 goal a game.
1 goal each game, yeah. He was well held in the first, the Sydney game was well held, and obviously, look, I know we're not speaking about that now, but
the thing is, in final footy, you come up against good, strong defenses. Team.
Yeah, that's why they're there
all the time.
Yeah.
So, I can see that point of view. It's his first final series. He's how old is he? He's young too.
25.
He'd be,
something like that.
It'd be better for the run. It's a good experience for him, I guess. So,
yeah.
It is what it is.
Is there anything that you saw in Brisbane's game on the weekend that you think, I didn't like that as a Collingwood supporter, or you go, yep, this is what I think we can exploit? Is there something that you saw, what you saw against the Carlton on Saturday evening, that your eyes sort of opened up? Anything you want to speak about?
You want to play a chaotic type of footy against the Lions.
Which puts the ball in transition.
Yes.
Do you think you want to
play
play
a stoppage team?
Brisbane. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you agree or no?
Not really. No.
No.
Okay. I know they had Carlton's measuring the clearance, and
yeah.
I don't
they're
know.
A good clearance team. So
I think they're a good forward half team. That's what I'll say. I'm really, and I will speak about it in the preview. I really love their forward half game. What they're able to do in the forward half, it's no other team can do what they do, and this is where we're going to have these mentions in the preview. But yeah, look, Brisbane are through into their grand final after 4 preliminary finals. Good on them. As I said, I do think the 2 best teams for the year are in the grand final. Congrats to Collingwood. Congrats to Brisbane. Standing tall in September, Friday night, who was your tallest on the ground?
The Bull, DeGoey.
Well, I'm just going to agree. So I'll let you speak because I've got the same guy. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, he pretty much put the team on his back. Yeah.
Honestly, we have to give this guy a rap.
I'm going to clap too, mate.
That is actually.
I will
you know
clap.
what?
I'll clap him all day. Can we just clap?
5 seconds.
Well done, Geordie.
That was worth it. He deserved that.
He's a good Kmart Dusty, but I'll tell you what, he was.
That was a game. That was a hell of a game. And 8 minutes off the ground in the last quarter.
I know. They couldn't get him on. Unfortunately, but his stoppage game. Well, GWS have been I think they've smashed everyone in the clearance game their last month.
Yep.
From what I was reading. And they got smashed on the weekend. And that's Collingwood's clearance game has not been their...
It's not their one wood.
Yes, it's not their strength.
No, of course. They want to outnumber you at the contest, but their clearance and stoppage game isn't the best.
Correct. And they like scoring from their back half, etc. But if Collingwood win clear, they're a hard team to beat because it's not something that they're known for.
Yeah.
We smashed them. I think we had like 8 more clearances.
Well, I reckon Jordan de Goey's, you know the clearances. I mean, he had 17 contested possession, 13 clearances from memory.
Yep.
His ability to break tackles and give separation, because what it does, you break one tackle, then you attract another, and now you got the overlap.
Well, he made
unbelievable.
Tom Green look like Jack Ginnivan. He was just monstering everyone. He couldn't be tackled. But I think with Jordan de Goey, he's a proven big game player.
He is now.
Yeah.
He is now.
He's done it in other big games, like 2018.
Yep.
He's performed
the Mason Cox preliminary final.
Yes, that one. Yeah. But that year, yes. And I heard Scott Penderbury talk last night, and he was saying that Geordie is excited, or he lives for big games where
he's stimulated.
He said round 17, Jordan de Goey, he just doesn't look forward to that. He's not excited to be in that game.
Sure.
Right? And that gives, I think he's got some ADHD or whatever he deals with that he says. Right? But he obviously is triggered by big games.
The big stage.
The big stage, correct. And some players are like that.
Yep. No, I agree. It's very Dusty-like.
Correct. Listen, I'll just step up when I need to step up.
I'm not going to put him in that category. I think that's
Dusty's on another level.
Dusty's on his own
3-time
podium.
Norm Smith, Yeah.
But Jordan de Goey has that sort of, gives me that sort of vibe.
Listen, boys, just get me there and then I'll do the rest. He doesn't have that long mental game. He's that burst sort of type.
Yeah. You need to keep him in the moment. You need to keep him there and present and recognising the opportunity.
I'm assuming Dunkley will go to him this week.
Yeah, which we're going to speak about that. And now in the Brisbane game, mine was Jordan de Goey too, so we agreed on that one. Brisbane and Carlton, who was your player of the game?
Harris Andrews.
Yeah, okay.
He was, I'll be honest, it could have been 8-0 at quarter time if it wasn't for him.
Yep.
His defensive work, aerial ability. He took this one
I know the one.
The ball was rolling in, and he took it at full pelt.
Yep.
That was amazing. That was amazing. I hope he doesn't do that this week. Right.
I'm going Kitty Coleman. Look, everyone's talking about it, but the facts of the matter are, it was obvious that he was the best player. In my opinion,
he was good.
He influenced the game. He directly had an influence on how the game went. Yeah, and it wasn't. Look. I don't adjudicate these. I don't pick these players on how many touches they've had. Yes, it's going to look funny because I've picked Jordan de Goey. He's had 34 touches, 17 uncontested, 13 clearances.
It was noticeable.
But the facts of the matter are, Kitty Coleman's influence was noticeable too.
Yeah.
His abilities, poise, and everybody did with that. There was a couple of there's a couple of taps that he did. I was going, you can't teach that.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to be able to repeat it because I heard Daniel Hoyne last night. Daniel Hoyne, your best mate, Pommy's best mate, everyone's best mate, champ starter. They rated that as the best game of his career.
Well, yeah. Well, I know he's going to shit himself this Saturday.
Well, we don't know that. But look, shout out to Kitty Coleman. That was a big game. He stood up when it counts, and as we know,
he was good.
In September,
I've seen him go missing.
Yeah.
There's been games I've dead set. I've had to send a search party out for him because
he
goes missing.
A lot of players do, though. So look,
but he's got to I reckon this Saturday we're going to be looking for him.
Yeah, fair enough. So Jordan de Goey, Harris Andrews, Kitty Coleman.
All good players.
All three players had standout games. Congratulations. No surprise, both their teams in the grand final. Well done. Let's move on. Brownlow medal occurred on Monday night. Now, I don't want to spend too much time on it because I know there's been a lot of it. But look, let's congratulate Lachie Neale. Well done. 2-time Brownlow medalist. He's a pick 58.
No, Paul. Congratulate.
Paul, in 2 years, listen, in 2 years' time, no one's going to remember it. The only thing they're going to remember is the name on that board where it says 2023 Brownlow medalist, Lachie Neale. And the reality, he's a pick 58. Like, he's had to do it,
Adrian, we're not, are we?
No, mate.
Did he deserve
Dacos
to
was
win?
robbed. I know where you're getting at. Dacos was robbed.
Nah,
let's just put it out there. He was robbed.
He was robbed.
He was robbed because I know where you're going
But
with
so
it.
was coming into the night. Oh, sorry, coming into the end of the night. So was Goulden. Goulden was robbed.
Mate, honestly, if they're gonna go down that path, there was 5 players who were robbed.
Oh, I agree.
Petrarca should have got 3 votes in the last 2. You just said, look on Petrarca's face.
Daniel Hoyne, every week I've had to listen to him bag the shit out of Lachie Neale.
Yeah.
Because he can't kick, he can't do this.
You wouldn't believe who we've got rated as the 150th player in the comp. Whatever. I get it.
Right.
I get it.
Right, but listen, when you're getting votes, he got 1 vote in round 4. He had 22 touches.
And all our viewers are going to know what we're getting at. And it's not just him.
It's
Paul.
not just him. But
the Horn
this
Francis,
game-
the Joel
Yeah,
Amati,
but
the
this game-
Dom Sheed when Collingwood did him by 70 points. I know he had 40 touches.
I'm
like,
looking
come on.
now. He's got a vote. He's got 22 touches, and 16 of those are handballs. And
Yeah.
he got a vote.
Yeah.
I'm looking at.
I think the game stands out against GWS where Charlie.
That was even worse. But
Yeah,
how does Dake? He gets 38, 2 goals, 2, no vote. Rayner kicks 4 goals, 1,
didn't get looked at.
didn't get a vote.
Is this in the round 4 clash?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not saying give it to Dacos or give it to Rayner. Kick 4. How do you give Lachie Neale a vote? It's just beyond me. And
Now we need
don't
to get the rabbit out of that.
The votes Dacos.
No, I understand that. There's a good tweet by a guy on Twitter called Gordon. I don't know his last, but he said it beautifully. He goes like, just end the count. Like Dacos has had 79 touches, 2 goals, 0 votes in 2 games.
Yeah. That's
Like,
what I
it's
mean.
just like, look.
42 touches, 0 votes. Oh,
Yeah.
we'll give it to
And
Mason Cox.
You know what? You could see how I know he's a kid and he handled himself really well towards the end when he was getting interviewed by Hamish, but the way Nick Dacos handled himself about it, I thought it was class. Obviously, he's got bigger things ahead, yeah? He's got a Norm Smith medal and a premiership medal to win this weekend. I get it. But let's not throw shade. It's not Lachie Neale's fault that he won the fucking medal, mate. Like, let's
It's not his fault.
Say it how it is.
But he almost said it himself that he was like, not
shocked.
embarrassed, but he was like, I'm not saying Dacos was robbed. Like, I would have thought Petrarca or Bont would have been more worthy winners.
Or Dacos.
Yeah, obviously.
And
but
to be
people are
fair,
going to say, he's a Collingwood
if
supporter.
Errol Goulden won it, I love Errol Goulden. If Errol Goulden won it, everyone's going to be going, this is rigged. Where did he come from?
Yeah.
You know, like,
he had a good year.
He did.
have a good year.
I agree.
I don't know how he didn't get 3 votes in that last
game.
round.
Well, Petrarca, mate, you should have seen
Petrarca, did he get a vote?
No, he didn't, mate. You should have seen the look on Petrarca's face in the last 2. So round 23 and round 24. Correct me if I'm wrong, audience, or you. Jack Viney got 3 votes in round 23 and round 24. They had the camera on Petrarca. Mate, honestly, man, I was going to give him a box of tissues.
Yeah.
I was going to throw him through the TV and go, "Here, have some tissue." Mate, look like he's about to cry.
Yeah, well, he can cook himself a ravioli later. Right? But
yeah.
Even I think there was a footage of Dacos when Petrarca didn't get the vote. Dacos was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I know. Now, I just want to speak about, and we'll put the graphic up now. Some of these players that you'll see now, thanks to AFL Central, as you can see on the AFL Central 1. I saw this on Instagram and I thought I'd take a picture of it and put it up. The disrespected players in the Brownlow medal count, like
Adam Chera, 2 votes.
Adam Chera's probably going to win our BNF.
What?
Josh Dunkley's got 4 votes. Hugh McCluggage is the one. I thought Hugh McCluggage had a really good year. I don't know if he's but Clayton Oliver 6 votes is fair enough. Look, Clary missed 10 games or 13 games. Rowan Marshall, I mean,
yeah, good year.
I don't know when. Look, this is the thing. So Rowan Marshall and Mason Wood are there. When St Kilda were winning games, tell me who was taking votes off. Maybe what, Crouch a couple? Yeah, Hill a couple.
Who did get their votes?
Sinclair.
Oh, Sinclair.
Like, come on, there's enough of a spread there to share the love. I mean, I don't know how these things. So we're sitting here talking about it, we're arguing about it, we're getting animated, etc. You know, even Harry Sheasel did not have a 3-vote year. I know they didn't win a lot of games, I get that, but he did not have a 3-vote year. He didn't.
The thing
he didn't have a 3-vote year.
This is the thing, right? They don't look at the stats.
Well,
it's not the umpire's fault.
No, but
it's not.
John Ralph said that, and I was under the impression going into this Brownlow, I must have been misinformed, which is every
thought they'd get to
I
see
thought
the
they
vote.
did, and
Yeah,
there's
they
every
don't.
chance that I was
Well, they
wrongly
haven't
informed.
since that guy was alleged of corrupting. That guy got arrested.
Not alleged. It's
Well, he hasn't been arrested yet. But that guy,
yeah, true, good point. Good point.
mate,
We'll
get lawyers involved.
Me
here,
no
mate.
speaking English. Yeah, no parle English. Anyway,
They've taken the phones off them after the game, so I can understand sometimes when you watch a game of football. Sometimes,
but they're not watching a game when Jason Horne-Francis gets 13 touches and gets 3 votes. They're not watching a game of fucking football when Lachie Neale gets 20, Charlie Cameron's kicking 7, and Charlie's getting none.
Yeah,
and Rayner's kicking 4 and getting none.
Sometimes the games
and
are
Joel
blurred.
Amarty's having no influence in the second half of the game in round 2, and his Sydney teammates are laughing. They're not watching a game when that happens, Paul.
Yeah, no. But they're not.
They need to get the stats.
But they're umpiring.
I understand that.
So
So
you
how
ask
can
us-
they correctly adjudicate, when you're umpiring, how can they correctly adjudicate who was best on? And I know there's 4 of them.
That's right.
What I know, the 4 is not there to help with the Brownlow medal voting. The 4 is there to help with the decision making, etc., and the positioning on the ground. But this is just out of control.
Well, they're doing a
They
job.
have to do something about it. They actually have to. They
They
have
need to give them stats. I can say like when you. Oh, thank you. Oh, jeez,
keep
we're all
going.
over the shop.
We're all
mate.
over the shop, yeah.
We got the nerves for the grand final,
Yeah,
mate.
Go on.
When you are umpire, sometimes when you're coaching, sometimes you can walk out of a game like, I don't know who played well.
Yeah. Well, the
Right?
coaches seem to.
We
They
can
do
all
coaches'
sit,
votes, but
we
they
can
get
all
a
sit
stat
on the
book.
couch and
Yep.
scroll through our phones. Well, how'd they get that wrong? And we've got the stats in front of us.
So why don't they have? them
Yeah,
in
that's
front of
right.
them?
So it's hard
It's as
to
simple as
bag
that.
them. I think it's more the AFL need to say, well, we need to give them tools to get rid of these howlers because
They were embarrassed.
sometimes you
It's
can think a
embarrassing.
player played good. Sometimes I say, geez, he played good. And then I watch the replay and I'm like, oh, no, probably.
No, but here's the thing. Like the counter argument to that, and the one defense I will have is I've seen players have 15 touches and be best on.
Yeah.
Like Charlie Curnow can
that's
can have 15 touches and kick 7 goals.
Well, that's fine. He kicked 7. You
I
give him
know
the
that, but that's
3.
what I'm saying. Like there are
But
players, how can they have? I know it's a small example.
Horne-Francis stands out. I
know
notice him
that
a lot.
because he puts his socks up and he's burst and he's
He's a
aggressive.
burst player.
He's another
Same-
Dangerfield.
If you're a burst player,
Yeah.
you stand out a lot more because you're noticeable every touch you have. So 13 touches looks like 20 touches. And that's why
which
Lachie
probably
Neale's
makes
polls
sense.
well.
Which
because
probably
he-
makes sense why Adam Chera, Josh Dunkley, Clayton Oliver are all on that
Because they're
list.
slow, woggy
Yeah.
type, fat wog people.
Not Clayton Oliver.
Well, Clayton Oliver isn't, but he's ugly. So
Yeah, Jordan DeGoey on there as well. Just looking at that, eight votes. But yeah, I don't want to spend too much on it. Look, obviously, congratulations on Lachie
yeah,
Neale.
well, he can't do anything. He'll take it.
Of course he will. His name's forever going to be on that board as he's one of only 16 players to win the Brownlow medal twice. That's impressive.
Judd that did it.
Judd's won.
Ablett.
Adam Goods,
Gary-
Robert Harvey, I think.
Gary Ablett.
Yes.
He won 2.
Dusty.
No, Dusty's won 1.
One. Ablett then, yeah. I don't know the list, but it's only 16 plays in these. Oh, Nat Fife. How did we forget that?
Jeez.
Nat Fife as well.
Jeez. There's a couple in the
You're
bottom.
gonna tear
Wow.
him down as well?
No, Nat Fife's a
No,
good
no.
player.
Was.
His body let him
Was.
down.
Was a good player.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
What?
He
Will go down as a legend
the
of the
thing
game.
is, you can win 2 Brownlows. Doesn't mean you're the most, like, just because you win a Brownlow
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily mean you are a legend of the game.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Like Shane Woden.
Correct.
Yeah.
All you
No
need to do
disrespect.
is play. No disrespect.
No disrespect.
Or Adam Cooney.
Yeah, no
Right?
disrespect also.
There's players who just have outrageous seasons.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And conversely, there's players that have outrageous seasons, e.g. Chris Grant when he got rubbed out, Matthew Richardson in 2018, that are still remembered as legends of the game, but they don't have that little asterisk. They don't have that attached
there's more
to their
legends
name.
of the game that haven't won the Brownlow than have.
Well, only one. You can only win one a year, so yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Well,
That's
actually, Jesus.
Come on, mate.
Well, that's
See
what
the
Collingwood-
Collingwood. It's on the IQ of a doorknob. You can only win one Brownlow medal a year, mate.
Well,
Like,
that's sorry.
how do you
mate.
think they hand
That
out?
is right. But you know what we're trying to say?
Yeah.
Is there a curse when you win a Brownlow? How many Brownlow medalists go on to win a flag if they're playing in the granny?
Oh, you got me here. I'm gonna have to go check that computer. It's not in the river yet. I'm gonna have to go check that computer.
We're going to have to check that, yeah.
Yeah, before it goes in the river after this weekend.
I know Collingwood's got, I think Did Swan win it in 2011?
Nah, I think he lost. Yeah, he won it in 2010 and 2011, and they lost the premiership.
Yeah. No, he won in 2011. He did. Judd won it in 2010.
That's right.
Yep. And we lost. And I'm pretty sure Buckley won it in 03. We lost.
Yep.
Sort of hoping Dacos
hang on,
didn't win it.
Ackermanis and Simon Black won it in 01 and 02, and they won the premiership in 01 and 02.
Brisbane's got a good record with
right. So that means
they could win
the numbers. What are the numbers saying?
The numbers say elsewise, mate.
Yeah. Who'd you get that info off?
I don't know.
Who you been talking to, mate?
Someone actually randomly emailed me.
I don't know
who it was.
Can you forward it to me? I want to have a look at it.
I'll forward over, buddy.
Look, we're going to go on the grand final preview. Big day, Saturday, 30th of September, 30th of the 9th. Expecting some really good weather here. I hope you got your sunscreen ready.
Yeah, I know.
They're expecting 29 degrees. Bro, Collingwood's going to want the air conditioners on, bro.
It suits Brisbane.
Yeah. Anyway, Collingwood are $1.75, Brisbane $2.10. I don't reckon the market's going to change much. I think it's pretty fair.
I was surprised Collingwood was favourite, to be honest.
Why? The only thing, I had since Sunday been in conversations with many people, and they haven't beaten you guys in 1,627 days. You know that. I know. Collingwood haven't beaten Brisbane in 5 years, 4.5 years.
Yeah.
Are you aware of that?
But that's because we play them at the Gabba every year. Besides this year.
Marvel? No.
Hang on. Besides this year.
And the COVID years, I get that.
All right. Besides this year, it's the first time we've played them in Melbourne for years.
MCG, you mean? First time MCG. You versed them in Melbourne 4 weeks ago. 5 weeks ago.
I'm saying before that game.
Yep.
I can't remember the last time we played them in Melbourne. I reckon it was in 2018.
You haven't beaten them in 4 years.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
That. It's almost 5 years.
But out of those 4 years, they've all been at the Gabba, and they've been a strong team for 4 years, and we haven't. We had a couple of years off.
Yeah, 2018 you made the grand final. But yeah, anyway, yeah.
And we beat them that year.
Was that the year you beat them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here we are. $1.75, $2.10. I wanted to speak to you about the battle within the battle. So I've got a few matchups here I want to run past you that I think are going to be very important to look. It's 18 on 18. Obviously, there's going to be upwards of 15 or 16 battles that are important. However, there's plenty more. But the two I wanted to speak to you about, the first one is Isaac Quaynor versus Charlie Cameron.
Ooh, big one.
Yeah.
He kills us every time, Cameron.
Yeah, but it's funny because 2 weeks ago you were saying Isaac Quaynor, and not you just saying, factually proven, is a very good one-on-one player. Now, one-on-one defender. What does Quaynor have to do to make sure Charlie Cameron doesn't get out the back?
Yes.
Because the Marvel game, you were there and we've gone through it off the phone, even after the game, even before we come on air today. That Marvel game, there was a few things there where Charlie exposed him.
Yep.
And one being Quaynor committing to the contest and the ball hitting the deck.
Yep.
Which typically Collingwood are a very good team when the ball hits the deck.
Yep.
But Brisbane, in my opinion, have the best mid to small size forwards in the comp.
Yep.
E.g. Bailey, Rayner, Charlie Cameron, Link McCarthy. So tell me about this battle between Isaac Quaynor and Cameron.
Well, the thing is, you cannot. Cameron is not an aerial player, and he likes.
Where Isaac is.
Correct. They're different types of one-on-ones.
Yeah, sure. I'm interested here.
Yeah, so I think when you talk about one-on-one, Cameron wants the ball to ground level, where Quaynor's, in my eyes, he's more of a one-on-one sort of aerial type player. He's been a good interceptor for the last 2 weeks. I don't know if they play Quaynor on him. I wouldn't be surprised if they play Maynard.
Can you go with him on the ground?
Yeah, he can. He's not slow. Maynard.
He's not.
But
he's not as agile.
Maynard can also wear you like a glove. He did a really good job on Toby Green, which I know he's not as quick as Charlie. But I think whoever goes on Cameron, Cameron's going to take him deep, right?
Okay, so that's interesting. So, okay, I love this. That's very, very good. So,
do you think that?
Yeah, I do. I think honestly, if Brisbane want to win the game, right. I know their tools are good.
Yep.
E.g. Danaher, Hipwood suspect at times, but look, we give him the benefit of the doubt.
He's another one that may go.
Gunston's probably not going to come in. Let's be real. Yep. He's probably not going to come in. Now, I believe Collingwood's defenders can cope with their tools. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm worried about the rotating roster that Brisbane run through their forward line. Now, as you said, I think they're going to try and take him deep.
Yeah. So
Because-
then, if you
So they're going to kick the way I've envisaged it is Brisbane trying to kick the ball to Charlie Cameron's advantage. Charlie trying to body whoever, get the ball on his side. Ball hits
he
the
does
ground.
the same thing every time. He
Yeah, I know.
goes goal side of
Goal
you.
side, the ball hits the ground, he taps it to his advantage, and
Yeah.
another one of their little minions come flying
Yeah.
through. If he doesn't kick the goal, he taps it to them or kicks it to them, whatever he
Yeah.
does, and that's how they get. And it's very smart. And at their forward stoppages, I watched them very closely against Carlton. There was some textbook plays that they pulled off.
That's what I mean. They're a good stoppage team.
I
That's
know
why
they're a good forward half team.
Yeah, so you don't want to get into a stoppage game with them because they're a good. But if you're Collingwood and you say, well, we got Quaynor, he's been one of the best interceptors over the last month.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to let him? Are we going to sacrifice his interceptability at halfback and take him deep where he's probably a little bit more uncomfortable?
So does that mean okay? Why are you mentioning Crane? It's a little bit off topic, so I apologise. But do you think that there is any possibility in any stretch of the imagination that John Noble gets recalled this week?
Yeah, he can.
Yeah, you know why I'm asking? Because I reckon they're going to need him. I reckon he
Yeah,
gets his shot. I genuinely reckon he gets his shot.
Well, I heard yesterday it's out of him and Frampton. They've both been told either one of them will be selected to come in.
And Ginnivan, you think will be still a sub? I think he's probably going to be the sub.
You reckon?
Yeah, I do. I think they're going to go with Noble. I think Noble gets his shot. I've been saying this to a lot of Collingwood supporters. They know who they are because they'll probably all be watching. I'm going to say
he
now.
may well get his shot.
I think John Noble gets his shot.
I think they're going to play Frampton.
Okay.
Yep. And I'll tell you why.
To keep Howe or Darcy Moore as that roaming interceptor.
Well, Howe was really good on the weekend.
Yep.
We're
We're not saying Howe's getting dropped.
Yeah.
None of your defenders are getting
Yeah,
dropped.
I think he's crucial.
So Taylor
on
Adams
his-
and McStay are out.
Yeah,
Let's
correct.
just put that,
Yeah.
which is in
There's only one spot available at the moment.
It's Daniel McStay's spot that's up for grabs.
Correct.
Right. And it's not Ash Johnson.
No.
Sure.
So I think he's at the Brownlow.
Yeah, dude, he's wasting his time. Man, he should get compensated for wasting his time. Don't know what he was doing there.
He was there for Mark of the Year.
Mate, he was never going to win it. Anyway, let's go.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think Frampton comes in. It's a like-for-like swap, and that is it. I don't think you bring Noble in, then you start to ask, well, who's going to play forward? Who goes
I think
forward?
you guys
Are you going to play
want-
Cox forward?
No,
Are you going to rely
I-
on Cox?
John
Well, he's been
Noble,
so instrumental in the ruck.
actually, we 2 minutes ago, I was like, I think Ginnivan starts as a sub. I think Ginnivan starts forward because I think your smalls are going to be just as important as Brisbane smalls. I think that's where you're going to get them. I don't think you're.
I agree.
Yeah. Now
That back
man-
line is Harris Andrews, and that's it.
and that's it. And Starcevic does very good with those mid to small size forwards. He'll probably take Jamie Elliott. Starcevic probably
yeah,
takes
Ali will
those.
lick his lips.
Quaynor there, I just thought maybe they'd bring in Noble so Quaynor can do a lockdown slash. I know you mentioned you think Maynard's going to go to Charlie Cameron.
Well,
I reckon Quaynor takes Charlie Cameron, and I
He
just
may well.
reckon
He
they
may
bring
well.
in John Noble as that sort of runner.
Yep.
But then I thought about it again, and there's so many ways you can look at it, and I'm glad I'm not Craig McRae, Justin Lepage, Hayden Skipworth, Brendan Bolton, whoever else runs a show at Collingwood. But I reckon they probably start Ginnivan because you're going to need another crafty small. I reckon that's how you're going to get them. I don't think your tools. I think they got your tools covered.
I think. Yeah.
I think your wingman.
I think
e.g.,
we're losing height.
Your steel side bottoms, your Josh Dacoses. These are the guys that are going to win you the game. Along with your running game is going to win you the game.
100%. I think.
So yeah.
Oh, look.
There's so many, as we said earlier, there's so many little mini battles.
Yeah, there is.
There's so many battles.
There's so many different battles, and I think at the end of the day, if you don't play Frampton, you're limited to height on the day. Because if Harris
But Collingwood's
Andrews,
never relied on height.
yeah, but you need a structural play to bring the ball to
fair
ground
call.
level.
Yep.
And who's
Good
that?
call. Good call.
I think Cox is not mobile enough.
Have some faith in the Yankees.
No, yeah, I do.
Have some faith
Yeah,
in the Yankee,
no,
mate.
No, I
Come
do.
on, man.
But he can't play a role that Frampton can. They might say to Frampton, listen, play on Harris Andrews. Don't let him mark the ball all day. Bring it to ground level.
Or put yourself
Cox
in danger
can't do
spots. Yeah, okay. I reckon you're underestimating the big fella.
No,
Big
he's
Mace.
been really good in the ruck,
Yeah.
Mace.
Okay.
And let me tell you this. The last time we played him, there was no Bobby Hill, Nick Dacos, Jordan DeGoey, and Darcy Moore. What do you think of that? What do you think of that?
They're big ins. I did actually factor them in when I did my predictor, when I punched some numbers.
Yeah.
And the whole script, just the whole code just came out.
What code did you come up with?
No, before we get to that, we're going to speak about the other battle. Jordan DeGoey versus Josh Dunkley.
That's a big game.
Josh Dunkley has to go to Jordan DeGoey. It's not even a question.
Can he go with him?
They can't go head to head. If they go head to head, it's just ridiculous.
Can he go with him?
Of course he can. 100% he can.
You reckon?
Mate, 100%. Tell me why he can't. He can hurt you on both ways. He can expose DeGoey.
Yeah.
He can expose his defensive capacity and ability
I don't have DeGoey. I think DeGoey might be a little bit too explosive for him.
with the ball. What about without the ball?
Well, he might if he wants to get him out the other way. But Dunkley's not a.
You're not giving Dunkley the respect, are you? Well,
No. Like he's a very. I call him a centre defensive midfielder.
He's a hard-working central defensive midfielder.
I don't know if he punishes you that much.
Toure.
Going the other way.
Not Yaya Toure. What's his
Can
name?
he punish you?
Thiago
He's not the
Alcantara.
best kick. He's not. You know.
No, he's not. But he does.
He's a good hard.
He does
I
win the
respect
ball.
him.
He does win the ball.
100%. He's a good player. If they want to go with him, they can go with him. So,
Are there any other matchups there that you're concerned about?
I just think that.
What about the ruckman? What about DC, Darcy Cameron, and America versus Oscar
DC
McInerney?
found some form last week,
He did.
finally.
And it's funny because up until last week, Mason Cox, in my opinion, was your number one ruckman.
He is. He's been playing more time as ruck.
That's why I know,
And
mate.
I've said this to my
He's
dad.
been your number one ruckman.
I said this to my dad 4 weeks ago. I said Cox plays better as our number. When Cameron was injured, Cox was playing his best footy as our number one ruckman.
When the responsibility was on him.
And some players are like,
They love it.
like, it's me or nothing. I'll step up to the plate. That's how some players are wired.
I think Tim English was a bit like that.
Yeah.
I think once Tim English realised, and this has come from Pomp, he made a very good point to me. I know you love him. I love him too.
I love listening to his numbers. What's his numbers for this week?
Don't know. I'd love to watch his grand final preview. Shout out Big Pommy
Might
and
watch
Oz.
it in the car on the way home.
Yeah, why not?
If it's out.
Maybe. But he was saying that he had an inkling, like he just was keeping a close eye on Tim English. And when the Bulldogs said to Tim, look, you need to have more responsibility, he sort of stepped up to the plate and he relished it.
Yep.
Maybe Mason Cox is that way wired. And as you said, some players are wired in different ways.
They are, 100%.
So, yeah, I think that ruck battle's going to... Oscar McInerney is a force. I know everyone blows smoke up Max Scorn's ass. I do too. I think Max Scorn, in my opinion, when fully fit, is the number one ruckman in the comp. I think Oscar McInerney is clear number two. Clear.
Yeah. Number 2 ruckman in the comp.
Yeah, I do. I think his impact...
You're off your head.
No, I think his impact on the game, it makes him number 2.
You're off your head.
Okay. That's fair. You don't have to agree. I respect that. So he's okay.
So he's ahead of Tim English and Roll Marshall.
I think his impact on the game. Okay, so if he's not 2, he's number 3. Is that what you're trying to say? We're going to argue about little things, small things.
I think Look, he's good. Well, we can argue. I love arguing with you.
It's a debate. It's healthy. A healthy debate
is a good debate.
Good for in a democracy that we live in.
I agree. I don't think he's the number one second best ruckman
in the comp. So who do you think is quickly before we move on to the next mini battle?
Darcy Cameron.
Okay. I'm the one. I'm the one off my head.
No. You got to go. I'd go Rowan Marshall.
Rowan Marshall, Tim English. Okay.
Yeah. Even Grundy at his best is good, but we haven't seen that often.
Haven't seen that for 2 years. But yeah, okay. Is there any other battles in this game that you think? Well, okay.
Well,
what are you going to do with Jeremy Howe? What are you going to do with Jeremy Howe?
He's going to play back.
I know he's playing back. What are you going to do with him? What are you actually going to do with him?
But they'll set up structurally. That's what they do. They play a system.
I think Jeremy Howe plays
He could play forward.
Jeremy Howe could maybe, not giving you a little sneak preview, may be the Norm Smith medalist on the day. I think his role is that big.
He could.
I'm not joking. I think Brisbane need to avoid being predictable with their delivery inside 50 because Collingwood are just going to pick them apart.
I think he did kick 2 or 3 against him in round 20.
I'm not saying Jeremy Howe's going to go forward. I'm not putting in. I know you're thinking maybe he's going to go forward. I'm thinking about his defensive and what he's going to do. Think of Bashar Hooley in one of the grand finals where he's stiff to miss out, and maybe the Adelaide game,
Adelaide,
2017. Yeah. I just get the impression that Jeremy Howe's going to be set up for a big game, and I just not simulating how I'm trying to visualize how the game is going to go, and my biggest concern with Brisbane is their delivery inside forward and how predictable they're going to be if there isn't a stoppage.
Yep. I think that's my favourite battle is going to be the Collingwood defence versus the Lions forward line.
Talk to me.
Well, the Lions have such a potent forward 6, and Collingwood's been, you probably have to say, one of the best defensive teams in the comp. And whoever gets on top of that, I think wins the game. If Collingwood can...
That's fair. It's accurate.
Yeah, if Collingwood's defence hold their firepower up, Collingwood will win. Because they couldn't do it in round 20. They gave up 124. And look...
Collingwood's mentality wasn't there in round 24. The game meant more to Brisbane. I guarantee you,
McRae would have said, listen, we don't want to get into a argy-bargy. Let's just have a fucking shootout.
Let's have some fun.
Yeah.
I don't think this is going to be a shootout.
No, I don't think it will be either. But to see that score, the last one played was 100 to 124. That's not a Collingwood type of game.
That's not a Collingwood game, no.
You know what I mean? So, and mind you, in the last quarter, we didn't have a key defender. But I wouldn't be surprised if things are going well up forward for Collingwood. This is where...
I think Jamie Elliott's your key.
Yeah, he killed him last time.
Okay, there's 22 keys on the ground. Every team's going to have 22 players that need to do a role. I think Jamie Elliott has a big say. So I've given you, in my opinion, Jeremy Howe down back. Yep. I think while a lot of focus is going to be put on these bigger names,
I actually don't think they've got a match-up for Jamie Elliott.
They do. They've got Brandon Starcevich. I think they'll put him on him. And he's a very good defender. He's no mug. I think Jamie Elliott's the one. I think Jamie Elliott needs to kick at least 2 goals for Collingwood to win the game.
I reckon he...
Is that fair? Is that too much to ask?
Yeah, well, it's a grand final. Now, Starcevich is nearly not 190 centimetres. Elliott's a small.
So who's he going to go to? Who's
I don't think Starcevich can go with him on a.
So who do they put to him?
That's what I don't know if they've got a matchup.
Kitty Coleman. That takes away their running.
No, but me and you said that's where you can get them is their back 6. Besides Harris Andrews, they're sceptical.
They're probably going to leave Darcy Gardner there or Darcy Fort, whoever played Darcy Gardner. He played last week, and I know the numbers will say that he kept Charlie Curnow to 1 goal. But the reality is he had 3 other fucking defenders and Carlton kicking horribly to their forward 50 to help. That's just my brief assessment.
Yep.
Well, we're going to get on... Well, all right. You can look at this game so many ways. And to be honest, mate, I'd honestly love the City for another hour. There's so many... There's literally 13 other battles here that I've got here, which we don't have time to go through. But
one last thing. I just wouldn't be surprised if things are going pear-shaped.
For who?
Collingwood.
Yep.
Up forward.
Yep.
Jeremy Howe will roll up as an aerial target.
Which you trialled in the Carlton game when you were down by 6 goals. A good game, right? Really? Yeah, it did. I mean, you caught us off guard, but I remember I asked you, he played that role another game. It may have been against Brisbane, and I asked you, and I said, what was his main objective up until halftime? And we were tweeting it, and I said, if he's not playing as a defensive forward, what's his role?
Yep.
Because to me, when against Brisbane at that game at Marvel, he played as that defensive forward. Do you remember?
He did, and he limited Harris Andrews that day. He did.
Okay.
He did.
That's why I asked. Was his role that game? Do you think his role is to be a presence, or do you think his role is to kick goals? To me, I think his role is to make Harris Andrews get confused.
Yeah.
And go, do I go to this contest?
Because
if Harris Andrews leaves Jeremy Howe is a known aerial ability.
Yeah.
He has that ability to take him
out. That night, Harris Andrews had 9 disposals, 6 marks.
6 marks is probably uncontested. as well.
Correct.
Okay.
So I think that's nullifying
Okay.
one of their best defenders. I don't know which way they go. Wouldn't be surprised if he plays forward, though.
Jeremy, if he gets...
There's such a small
are you
forward
saying,
line.
Hang on, are you saying start up
He
forward?
could. I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay, wow. Okay.
Only because they've got a very small forward line. What matchup do you give him? Especially if you are not playing the football in your half where you can set up behind the ball. What matchup is you putting? Who are you putting him on? Is he quick enough to go with their smalls? I don't think so.
That's a good question.
Or does he go on a Hipwood and then
You've
Murphy?
been working on that magnet board of yours at home,
Oh,
bro.
mate,
You've been doing
on the toilet, mate.
Your mock matchups. I like it though. That's great. Great. I love it. Okay.
It is good.
Who's going to win the Norm Smith? Let's move on to what we think's going to happen. I understand and I know that you think Collingwood's going to win. I've never seen you more nervous in my life. I just can't understand how you're so nervous. I get that it's a whole grand final and all that, and you don't want to walk home with your head in your head, with your hoodie over your head and not saying hi to anyone. And I know you're just waiting to give it to all the Carlton supporters when Collingwood win the grand final. However, I must admit, looking at you and speaking to you since Sunday and the way you've been. What's going on?
Of course, it's nerve-wracking.
You've been rejecting calls, mate. Like you don't even want to. No, you know.
I haven't been rejecting any calls, mate. I'll welcome all the calls.
Yeah, but you don't want to speak about this weekend's game. Why are you nervous?
I'm not nervous, but it's a grand final. It's no, I'm not. I'm actually excited.
Cool.
So
who wins the Norm Smith?
It's a good day to be there. Wow, they're going to have to...
who do you think wins the game and then wins the Norm Smith?
Wow.
It'll be easier once I get...
I think the Norm Smith is more of like insurance. You get back what was taken from you. So Nick Dacos will get his Norm Smith medal.
So
as insurance policy for the Brownlow.
Supposed to be yours?
He was meant to win the Brownlow, but the AFL obviously fucked that up. So
right. So
we'll give him the Norm Smith instead.
I know you're in the lottery, Nick, and look, we know the prize said you win a Ferrari, but, we couldn't give you the Ferrari, mate. We apologise. We'll give you a Lamborghini.
Correct.
You
win the Norm Smith.
And
if Brisbane win,
the
fuck. They might as well give it to Neil. He'll have fucking 5 kicks and he'll still win it. Just give everything to that bloke.
I think
who else is going to win besides
anyone? Anyone can win.
Anyone can win.
Isaac Smith's won it, mate.
Anyone can win on the day.
Can't
this is
say
why
it's a certain.
I always
think this person's
say
going to win.
No. I always say grand final day
lottery. It's voted by certain people.
If you're going to have a punt, I've got a
always
theory.
Gamble irresponsibly.
Yes,
no, irresponsible.
Always go with an experienced player who is calm, is being there. And
so Pendlebury or side bottom.
Someone like that, yeah. Because they're not jittery and they're smart players. They get to the right spots. Mate, side bottom could be a good one.
That's you. Take your hat off so people can see.
No, I'm fresh shave, mate.
Take your hat off so people can see. Look, I'm still side bottom.
So I put a jumper on and run out.
I don't know why you haven't bought your badges here, your Collingwood mug, your toothpaste.
I was going to bring your lid. The lid that came off.
Oh, yeah. No, we put it back on. We put it back on for 24th of September, 2024.
Yeah, that'd be rare. That's right. Yeah. I hope Maloney made his Sandinelli prosciutto sandwich on Sunday morning.
Shut up. I think Collingwood's going to win the game.
Is he still counting his receipts?
Ask him.
I might have to message him.
You know what? You do what you got to do. May God be with you. I think Collingwood wins the game, Paul.
Yeah, who's your Norm Smith vote?
Don't care. Don't know. Haven't thought that far ahead. I'm going to say Jeremy Howe.
Howe?
Jeremy Howe.
Imagine Pendlebury won it. Jeez, that'd be
wouldn't be not out of the realms of possibility.
It's not.
I'm going to go Jeremy Howe still side bottom. For what it's worth, I don't bet on Norm Smith. I don't bet on these.
It's a stupid thing to bet on, to be honest. You don't know who the fuck knows, really.
Here's what I have had a bet on. I think Collingwood win the game. I've been saying this. Yeah.
Really?
I don't need to say anything, mate. They're not losing the game.
You know, out of the last
They're not losing the game.
Out of the last 8 grand finals.
This is why I'm trying to work out why you're nervous. I get it, though.
Of course you're nervous.
I understand. I know.
The last 8 grand finals, only 2 of them are the last 8 interstate grand finals.
Within state teams, you mean?
Only 2 have won. And, of course, one of those...
Sydney Swans have to know.
Yeah, and West Coast in 18. Yep.
Yeah.
Which is against Collingwood.
Sydney beat Hawthorn here.
Correct.
Which was what, 2012?
2012, I think.
Yeah,
you're right,
it was. And then Hawthorn won 13, 14, 15.
Yep. And obviously the 18 was the Eagles against the Pies, the Dom Sheed.
Collingwood win the game, mate, and win the grand final. As hard as that might be for a Carlton supporter to say it, it's not hard because I know you know what I'm getting at. I don't want to speak about it. I'm not too worried if Collingwood win it. I've sort of accepted it, which not many Carlton supporters will. Collingwood win the game.
You don't think Carlton supporters will be happy? I'd be happy if Carlton won it.
No, you wouldn't. That is categorically untrue.
I would be very happy, but you're not.
Paul, don't bullshit a bullshitter.
No.
You're not going to be happy if Carlton won the grand final.
I would be happy.
Yeah, you will not, mate.
How can I?
You're just as good as Darcy Moore on Monday night.
No,
Who are you lying to?
I'll be very happy if Carlton won it, but you just never get there, so I can't show you that my happiness. Right?
Fair enough.
What do you want me to do?
Collingwood wins the game. I know I've said it 8 times. I'm not forcing an agenda here. I'm just giving you facts. The advice is on the table there for you, ladies and gentlemen. I know the gentleman across the road from me over here, the great man Paul Italiano, might have some reservations or some objections as to what I say, as much as he doesn't want to hear it. He thinks he's rocking up there. He's nervous. Going to be a tight game, and I don't care if it's a tight game. I'm just telling you right now, Collingwood are going to win the game, mate. Get it word for word.
We could.
You could.
We could win the game. Of course we could.
There's only 2.
But the thing is, mate.
Shut up. You could win the game. There's only 2 possible outcomes.
There's a draw, which we get. We play extra time. Mate,
someone has to win the...
Mate, I've been to a draw, a win, a loss. Fuck, mate. You think I'm confident?
Allow me, Mr. Paul Italiano, to enunciate myself correctly here. Despite what you may believe or what you think is going to happen, please listen to Uncle AD when he tells you that Collingwood will win the 2023 Premiership. Whether it's a fucking draw this week or not, Collingwood will be winning the flag.
I hope you're right.
I know I'm right.
Well, if you're right, I'll see you on Swan Street.
You'll see me at Melbourne International Airport.
You going?
To the airport.
Where are you going?
Why would I tell you? I'm trying to get away from you.
Mate, you can come and celebrate. We'll welcome you with open arms, my friend.
Well, good luck.
No, thank you.
It's going to be a good game.
It's going to be very nervous.
And to be fair, it's I hope it's a good game. I do.
Yeah, well, hopefully
I'm telling you now, as much as I know and I believe Collingwood to win the game, I don't want to sit there like last year and at halftime I put it on the races.
Yeah,
when Geelong versus I was watching the Gallops. I was watching Randwick.
Yeah, that was shocking.
I'm not on that shit again. Let's just have a good game.
Yeah.
But
I think I don't know if you're gonna get that this week.
We'll see. Paul Italiano, 2023. Thank you. And
been good year. Been good year.
Let's look down this camera here, Paul. Thank you to everyone who has watched, and liked and subscribed. We appreciate it. It's our first year. We'll be back next year, bigger and better. We'll look at a few things that we can refine. And to, as I said earlier in the show, to everyone who has been a part of it, our producer and editor, Ben, our guests, or at start, Paul Sebastiani, Michael Maloney, Dan Williams, Pommy and Oz, from both of us, we appreciate it. And again, to the viewers at home,
thank you.
It's not possible without you guys. So thank you so much. Enjoy.